What's going on, guys? Quasi for Quasi Media and Quasi Animations. We are about to talk about basic bone movements or rig movements for an extracted character from Xenoverse 2. I find a lot of people want to venture into this, especially in trying to make mods and stuff, and there are no tutorials about it, like point blank period, like really talking about changing animation. Let's say you do have an animation from Xenoverse 2 and you want to edit that animation or add to it or change a rotation for something or whatever. You really need to understand the bones. So we're going to talk about it with my character from Rise of the Darulians, Chaos Lord Zelker. Okay, understand this is not a Dragon Ball series. I'm just using Dragon Ball Universe 2 models to create the series because I don't model characters. Hey, okay, so with that being said, we will make sure he's selected so we can orbit him. I'm hoping that you have some sort of knowledge, at least being able to maneuver or move with the character. Now, in doing this, I'm not going to be in global. Again, global is up here. Transformation, orientation, global. Okay, we're not going to do that. For the bones, we're going to do local. We're going to go to local, and we're going to select whatever bones we want. Now, over here, if you look at my outliner underneath, this is the outliner where you see the bones. This is the outliner. This is the properties panel with the property tabs. Okay, so over here, what we're going to do is I'm going to click. If I have a bone I can't really get to, like right now, the head bone is kind of, it's finessed in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? See, I might click a whole bunch of things and I better click the head bone. So over here, you have B. Anything with the letter B on it is an actual bone. G and G, if the G is the first thing, it is literally a guide bone. Okay, if it has an F on it, it's for the face. Okay, so the B is basically body bones. Okay, so I'm going to hit this, the head C underscore C. That is for the head. All right, now you're going to say, well, how do you do that? I hit R 2 times, hit R twice, and it gives me this trackball type of rotation. All right, okay, if I hit R once, whichever direction I'm in is the way it's going to rotate. Watch when I turn sideways, it's going to rotate back and forth. Now here, if I hit R again, it's going to give me that trackball rotation. Okay, if I'm above it, this is what it's going to turn. Okay, from to the front, it's going to give me left to right. All right, okay, so same thing with these. Up and down, turn over here, back and forth, rotate, up above, back and forth. Okay, because understand, it's dealing with whatever rotation your character's in. So if you're right here and you click it, that character's arm is, look how it's moving, because that's where you are. Watch this, same thing. See how weird it's turning? Watch this, same thing. So whatever orientation you're in is the way that the character is going to move. So I was asked about a basic arm movement, say to lift the arm up or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keyframe these. You hit I and it gives you a keyframe menu. For this, you only need location and rotation. Some people scale, like a good example. I can hit the chest bone. Okay, see I highlight the chest. It even gives you the name here. It says front orthographic, right? This is perspective. Orthographic is when it's straight on. So it's showing you that bone, chest. Okay, if I hit scale, I can scale it. Okay, I'm sorry, that was funny. Okay, so people do that sometimes, like if they want a character to be like yelling at somebody and say I click the head and he turns his head left and he's like, I told you better. Ah! Okay, so you could scale and do those types of things. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this. Deal is this is under the right shoulder, right? I don't want the armor part, so I'm gonna take the armor parts off. Hold control and click it twice. If it's something particular, if it's already highlighted, click it more than once. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I want just those two. I want the arm and the arm helper. The arm helper is what helps it bend down, but when the armor is selected, it'll fold up the whole thing. I don't want that. I don't want the armor help parts. I just want the arm itself. So since we're in local, to go up and down is RZ, okay? So it's gonna let you do it like that. Always use R, man. Like don't just rotate unless you are using the gimbals on the side. These tools over here allow you to be able to move something somewhere. So say I click this, right? See how the gimbal shows up? Okay, and it shows you your directions. So if I click that direction, like see right here on the blue, it's gonna let me go up and down on the blue. If I click it on the red, it's gonna let me turn it on the red. If I click it on the green, it's gonna let me move it on the green. If I click the white, that's the general overall transform. Okay, I just hit R. Okay, so So go back to the front. I'm going to hit Control. I'm going to hit Alt R to unrotate it. RZ to rotate it down. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. RZ to rotate it down. And the reason why I'm in the front, because I want to make sure that I'm doing this basically close to the same amount of evenness that I did on the other one. Now, the next part we want to do is, say we want to fist it, right? I have pose libraries. Now, it's telling you pose library. See this man right here? This object data property for the bones. Click it, and it allows you to have, like I have 3 different bone types. Layers, and that's just like, you see there's no face bones, but there go his face bones, there go his eyelids. So we're going to go back to his main bones. You can create pose libraries for the character. Okay, so let's say I have this pose, right? And if you don't want to lose the pose, remember, save. Okay, I'm not going to save this because this character already has its own poses, but they're not in here. I'm going to make a pose. So this is the best way I'm going to show you. Make a pose. I'm going to click pose, and it says pose lib, so I'm just going to call pose lib.001. All right, and I'm going to hit this shield here. The shield is fake user. Click it. Trust me, you need to do that if you save the project, because if you come back, it won't be there. All right, so we're going to make a pose for him. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to move his fingers the way I want them. All right, so I'm going to highlight all of those, so you just box select. That's what this is right here, box select, right? And you got other tweaks in there too. If you press it down and hold it, it'll give you other tweaks as well. Okay, so we're gonna box select that. I'm gonna hit RY. Okay, and then for every other finger after that, I'm gonna take my time with it. So you're gonna see me go through this process real quick. This is not sped up by camera, this is sped up by my hands. So, because I'm not accustomed to doing this. All right, and then this one, we're gonna go a little bit further because the pinky finger tends to be a little bit further forward. The middle finger is just not far enough forward. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. But here, what I wanna do is, see this? I'm gonna select all of those. I'm gonna hit RX, because I wanna turn it in. Your bicep kind of folds towards the inside of your body a little bit, okay? So I'm just gonna turn it just a little, and I wanna catch his hand. All right, so understand, if you wanna find these, they're under, the hand bones and all this here are underneath the particular shoulder. So when I click this is highlighted already. That hand is already highlighted. Okay, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it a little bit. All right, there we go. I'll go in. So that would be, when I did it just then, it's RY. Okay, and again, we're going to do the same thing here. RY, go in some, and then by hand I'm going to rotate. RY. Why? Because Y is actually that, Y is the motion that, the angle that these are actually at already. Okay, that's why I'm doing that. They're already in that, that's their orientation, I meant to say. Turn it in some more. Again, do not forget to save if you're doing this yourself. And RY. And we're gonna bring, and do this here, do the same thing we did with the other, come on. I'm going to turn it a little bit, and on this case I'm going to bring it down some more so it looks a little bit more natural. All right, and because the arms are straight up and down, no one stands like that. So since these are select, I'm going to select just those. I'm going to bring it back, RY, because remember that's how you get your motion to go in that direction. And then I'm going to RY again just a little bit, because there's a break in your arms when you stand. So you want to find that break. Again, I know you say, oh, he's going fast. Not really. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. I can go so much faster than this. So the reason why I'm selecting all of that, because this elbow, this is the elbow, arm, and the elbow bone. They both move together. So if I just pick the elbow by itself, right? That's the arm. So say I pick the elbow and I do this. It does nothing. It just moves that part in the back. See that back there? That's what it's for. Okay, so I just move them together because it just makes sense. If I just move just the arm, it moves the arm, but the elbow doesn't do anything. And it's cool if you do it by itself at certain times. So again, that's more advanced stuff. Now, I want his legs to be a little bit spread apart. So I'm gonna pick these up here at the top. Now I'm gonna hit RZ because that's the orientation. RZ, is this forward? Yeah, make sure I'm looking at it right. Now I'm looking up here where you can see the two little knots to make sure that they're even in the same place. I'm gonna click his foot, RZ. I'm gonna click this foot, RZ. Again, you don't have to really think about it. Like if you do it enough, you'll remember those things. Don't forget, like once again, pick a bone, get used to the orientation, and if the orientation don't go a certain way, don't forget Y, Z, and X or your orientations. The gimbal up here shows you Y, X, and Z, Z, Y, and X, Z, X, Y. I mean, it's just those are your orientations. So I'm gonna click the pelvis because it's hard to get to it. It's here, but it's two bones there. You have the G pelvis, GC pelvis, which again is a guide, and then you have the bone pelvis. So I'm gonna go to the front because I want to bring it down some. Sorry. Again, because I'm on the local, up and down is Y, and in most programs Y is up and down. In Blender, Z is up and down. But because I'm using local, the bones are set up in the Y. Okay, that's Y. Weirdly enough to say that. So now we're going to click. I'm going to turn it up. Turn this one up. I'm going to click the neck because I want his neck to be down a little bit. I'm going to hit R, X. X usually always is going to always pretty much be in the same location, no matter which way you turn it. And I'm going to turn his head up a little bit too. So now he looks like he's kind of standing forward some. I'm going to make this kind of cool. I'll bring him back a little bit here on the chest. I'm going to click the neck again. All right, so now he seems a little bit more like he's standing like with some purpose. Okay, there we go. All right, so, excuse me. So now, I'm trying to think about what else I want to do here. Okay, so he's set up. Now this is the pose I want. So we're going to click all the bones, hit A. A selects everything. You double tap it to take it off. We're going to click A. And then we're going to go to this button over here in the pose library. This plus sign, going to click plus sign, going to add new. Double click it, and we're just gonna say rest pose. All right, that's done. Now, when I do this, watch. I hit R. Now, what I just did was hit R, Alt R, Alt G. It snaps it back to its regular location. But when I click this button right here, apply pose library pose, click, he goes back to where I had him at because now the pose is in there. Now, we're gonna make one more pose. This time, I'm just gonna have him with his arm up, making a fist. RY, RX to rotate. I know it might seem we're RZ to pull it in, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go RY again, RY again. All right, this time I'm gonna go on this one. All right, I'm gonna push it out a little bit. No, push it in some. I'm gonna catch this shoulder right here. There we go, lift it up. All right, now with the hand, I'm gonna pick, because I don't want it to mess up like I selected all of them. This time I'm gonna do one at a time. The difference here is I'm going to start by clicking all of these bones. I'm going to hit Alt R because I want them all straight. I don't want any of them crooked. It's for a reason, because I'm going to make a fist and I wanted to have the proper stuff on it. So this time I'm going to hit RY. Well, I'm going to do it at the tip because we want to fold at the tip first. We don't want to fold before that. RY, and then click the next bone. Or Y, because we want to make a fist. And you don't have to go all the way like I did just then. Whatever you choose to do is how you choose to do it. Just remember one thing, if you don't remember anything at all, is that you're making a fist, and what does it look like if you did one yourself? That's really what you have to focus on. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Still rocking. I know you say, dang, he did that first. I'm like, because I wasn't thinking about it. Because I'm accustomed to doing it beforehand, and I know I have to come back and do this again. So yeah. And the thing is I'm making a softer fist than what you would get in Xenoverse. All right, so I'm gonna make this pop out. Pop out. Now we're gonna X with a Z this time. Y, Z, I mean X, not Z, now Z. I need to go back over here. See, the finessing I'm doing is more about me figuring out which one will be the better bet. And a lot of people don't do that. Like they're just trying to just make a real quick thing, and not understanding that you still have to make, it still has to make sense. That's really what I'm getting at. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make no sense to make it, right? Oop. All right. Well, that's too far up, rather. Okay. What we got? Hit Y on that. I mean, another thing is reset if you need to reset, because a lot of times you'll find yourself that you really need or should reset, And I just reset it just then. I was like, I'm not gonna play with that like that. There we go. All right, so now he's made his fist. Okay, so now we got the fist there, right? Okay. So I'm gonna select all the bones, hit this plus sign, add new, and let's go fist pose. Well, no, let's go R underscore for right hand, right? R underscore fist underscore pose. All right, so now I can go back over here and I can make him just do this, or I can make him do that. Now I'm gonna show you what's beautiful about this. I have this character selected, right? I'm gonna select all his bones. We're gonna hit I, location, rotation. And in 24 frames, I want him to switch over to the fist pose. And I'm gonna hit I again, location, rotation. So here we go. There it is. So that's one of the things that you wanna, like, a lot of people don't think about. Like, this is basically how you would animate something. So in this case, what I would do is, let's say I want to go to 40, and I'm going to select all of those because for some reason select, it's not on. And I'm going to push that down. And for the sake of, let's say at 20, right? At 20, I'm going to select it, and I'm adding another set of keyframes. Let me explain why. I'm going to show you how to make almost an impactful animation. Scroll this out some. So since they're at 40, we know we got 39 right here, right? So I'll go like 2 back and push that forward. Now let's go. He's slowly drawing it up. You know, okay. So he might just want to take his time and get to that. So let's say we want to do it around about 20 instead. So I'll come back here. That's too long to be waiting on that. So let's go. All right. You can even go back here and do it at like 10, 15 frames. They're like, yeah, okay. Like if you really want it really fast, let's go 1, 2 back. I'll slam it like this, and here we go. Okay, so that's really one of the easiest things that you can do when you want to like create an animation for something or whatnot, because a lot of times what happens is people don't pay attention to those little bitty pieces, and most animators or people that animate will tell you a whole bunch of things. And even if you're using a rig, okay, because we're going to, next video you're going to see is me using a rig character that will not be one of these guys. It's going to be a character from one of my other series, and he's going to have a whole rig on him with inverse kinematics and forward kinematics on him. And you're going to see the difference between the rigs. This is simple. This will really be forward kinematics, because inverse kinematics, if I moved this hand, it wouldn't move by itself. The whole elbow would move, the whole arm would move if it was inverse kinematics. So forward kinematics only moves like that. So in forward kinematics, if I move this arm, everything underneath that moves. In inverse kinematics, the only thing moves is the thing I'm moving, and everything else will sit still. So with that being said, man, I hope you learned a little something. If I missed anything or you feel like you want to see something else, ask in the comments, and let's go from there. Nothing but love.